Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a good day today. We didn't get to go to the farm today because it was raining a little bit on and off all day. It was a little too wet, so we didn't get to go. But that's okay. I want to talk in this video about my solar system. So stay tuned. It will be coming up next.
Welcome to our paradise where dreams come alive. Hand in hand we'll soar like eagles in the sky. Every little moment.
Okay, let's dive right into this video, our solar system, and why we decided to do our solar system here. I touched on it a previous video. Electricity here in the Philippines is very unstable and irregulated. We're supposed to be getting 220 volts, but it gets down to 180. So it's not very good for your appliances. Now, here in the Philippines, you can buy appliances with inverters. And so I highly recommend, if you're living in the Philippines, to buy your electronics or your appliances with inverters. It just helps with the compensation for the low voltage. Also, electricity here in the Philippines is quite expensive. It can be upwards anywhere from 10 to 13,000 pesos a month. So it can be upwards of $200 to $300 a month. And that's a lot here in the Philippines, at least for my house here. All the time I've rented a house here in the Philippines, I have paid pretty good price for running an air conditioner or running electricity. Now, without the air conditioner, it does drop down considerably to maybe about $75 to $100 a month. But anyway, the other reason too is that the solar here is so inexpensive compared to the U.S. When I was living in the U.S., I did a price comparison for solar. And so, just a couple years ago, when I had done some research, for 10,000 kilowatts, I was looking about $20,000. Now, I've done some research today in preparation for this video, and in America, for 20,000 kilowatts, you can buy it for like $21,000, $22,000. Now, there again, that is a DIY project. If you're going to have an installation or an installer, which I would highly recommend that you do, it's going to cost you another $10,000, $15,000. And yeah, so it gets quite expensive. Now that does not, the $21,000, $22,000 was just the basics. You still need the wiring, you still need the automatic switches, and you need the breakers, and you just need all those components. I'll show you some pictures of my system here and why we decided to do that, and we'll go over each individual thing. So first of all, I want to highlight the biggest component of your system is composed of two parts: the solar panels and your lithium batteries. Here in the Philippines, the majority of the batteries here are deep cycle batteries. They're lead acid or even gel batteries that are designed for solar use. But those are really inefficient. You can only get down to 50% on those batteries. It's not recommended you go down any lower than that. And when you do, you really damage the batteries. So you're not able to use your total capacity in those batteries. And the shelf life or the use of those batteries are not very good. 2-3 years about tops here in the Philippines. In America, can extend that a little bit more, but batteries are a little bit more expensive. They can be around 6,000 to 9,000 pesos here, so that's roughly about $150 per battery, and that's about 100 amp hours. So lithium is just more efficient in my book, and so I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels and a lot of different ones, and there are so many different companies. Lithium in this country, in the Philippines, is very hard to find. It's getting more readily available, I think, according to my installer. They do sell lithium, but I couldn't find any in my local area very easily. Most everything is lead acid because that's what most people can afford. But if you can find lithium in this country, it's highly expensive, way expensive. And for me, there was a YouTuber, I was watching his channel, and he talked about ordering directly from the manufacturer to get lithium batteries. So he gave his contact person, the one he bought from, which is Felicity Solar, based out of China. So I reached out to them after doing my own research, and with the Felicity Solar batteries. And there's a few other brands out there, but this one had some great reviews, and I could buy straight from the manufacturer. And this guy, this YouTuber, has been using it for several years and has had no issues with his batteries. So I thought I'd give it a try. I went to the manufacturer and I contacted the person there, and so I got all the information I needed. But the Felicity Solar, I reached out to them and they shipped it to me, and I had to go pick it up at the port in Davao. And the lady there that I was in contact with told me that I would need something capable of carrying a very heavy load, because these things weigh nearly 400 kilograms. Next thing I had to do was find someone with solar panels, and they have them here. In fact, now it's more readily available to find solar panels, but I wanted 500 watt solar panels. And so I just so happened to be driving around, and I saw a sign for solar in Tagum City. So I'm like, oh, there's just a place for solar. And so I stepped in and introduced myself and asked about solar panels and what they had available. Let me adjust my camera here, it's falling down a little bit. There we go. So anyway, I asked about the solar panels, and I told them what I wanted. And so I wanted 500 watts at least. And so they gave me a package deal: installation, 10 solar panels, 5 kilowatts, and it included all my wiring, all my breaker boxes and my switches and everything else, all of it. The whole entire, putting my batteries together was 150,000 pesos. So about 3,000 US dollars. I ordered a 5 kilowatt system, Grow Watt. And so I ordered that, and it could be grid, off grid, hybrid, whatever. So, but my solar guy recommended that I did not go with a grid tie or a hybrid system, but just to be completely off grid, because the power on the grid is so unstable that it could risk damaging my system. So I do have a grid backup, and there's an automatic switch. If the batteries were to get low, it switches back over to grid automatically, and so that I don't have to miss any power. So if my batteries were to get low, which occasionally they do, because there's been no sun for a few days because of the rain, and so I got the package. I went ahead and allowed him to install it, and he seemed to know his stuff. Him and his wife both seemed to know his stuff. Hindsight, I probably would have maybe done things differently. You know, he's a nice guy, but he wanted to install my solar panels on each side of my roof, which I have a very steep roof, right? And I'll show the pictures here, just how steep they are. And so my system is split, 5 panels on one side, 5 panels in the other. So a 5 kilowatt system. Solar panels were installed on one on each side, like I said. And they ran the wiring through the side of my roof. I fed it into my system. I'll show you the pictures where they run in the wiring there. So you can see the pictures where they run the wiring, how they connected everything. And the installation was great initially, except he assured me that having the panels this way would be no issue. Well, let me tell you, it's been an issue from day one. They have not worked at all like they should. You know, I get anywhere from 1,700 to 2,200 watts during the sun, and that's the max. So my solar panel should be getting between 4,500, around 4,500 watts an hour. And you know, it's a 5 kilowatt system, so it should be getting up to 5,000. But you know, sometimes because of the direction of the sun and everything, it can lose that. But it should at least get over 4,000, and it doesn't. 2,200. And I've called him back and forth, and they come out and they thought maybe changing the wiring would make a difference, and because there was a little bit further distance to my system from the solar panels, and so they thought maybe shortening the wiring would allow for more wattage. So you know, I agree in theory, and so that's why you see the wiring coming down through my house. I'll show the pictures here and how it goes around. That was only supposed to be temporary. It wasn't supposed. It's unsightly, and I don't like that. The wiring is running across the floor in my upstairs rooms, but he assured me it was only temporary. Well, now that's been about a year, and they haven't been back. So, which that's not an issue right now, because I'm planning on getting another update, because I've only got one battery installed. Each of my batteries is 15,000 kilowatts. 15,000 watts, 300 amp hours. So that means if I add 600 amp hours. He didn't recommend hooking them both up now, because I only have 5,000 kilowatts of solar panels. So my plan is to add another area outside, and I'll have a flat roof with a slight pitch, and then I'm plan on making the solar panels, all of them there. I may take these off and add them back there too. That makes 20 solar panels altogether, and that way they'll run more efficient. Overall, I don't have much. I have about $6,000 invested in my system. So, or 7,000, yeah, let's see, 150, so $7,000 is all I've got in my system right now. And so they're not a lot. And if I add another solar panels, that's another 100,000 pesos, I think, for the solar panels. And so we can get that at another time. So let me talk a little bit about what I don't like about the system. First of all, I don't like the roof like that. Second of all, I don't like my Grow Watt inverter. I haven't liked it from day one. It's not very user-friendly to set up. My installer set it up and everything, and I've gone over all the different books. I watched YouTube videos. I've done everything, and it did not have a Wi-Fi dongle. And it took me a year and a half to get a Wi-Fi dongle. You can't order them here in this country. If you don't get it already with your package, when you order it, you don't get it. But unfortunately, I had to order it online, my Grow Watt inverter, and it didn't come with one. So my friend from the US was coming over to visit in the Philippines, and so I had him buy one there and bring it here. But it does not read my batteries, my battery I should say. It doesn't correlate very good, doesn't keep regulations, and when we try to do according to the specifics of the battery, Grow Watt rejects it. And so we had to do a manual override and installation. And the installer, that's how he explained it to me. So, but one thing I don't like about it too is it shows that it's 25, 50, 75, 100% charge. Now, the battery, however, my Grow Watt inverter, 25, 50, 75, 100%. It doesn't break it down any more than that. And my battery blinking red, and my Grow Watt inverter is still showing 50%. I know, and it's not user friendly. If it was user friendly, then I could program it myself. I could do it without having to call him every time I turn around. And I've called him a few times. He helped me go over some stuff, but the Grow Watt inverter is not that great. 8 miles from home, I forget the name of their charge controller, but they have had good success with that, and they say it is user friendly, real easy to do. It's self-explanatory. He's gone over everything. I've been watching his video, and it's a whole lot easier than mine. So my recommendation for Grow Watt is thumbs down. It's not very user friendly. I don't like it. I will be changing over, and hopefully I'll have a better experience. But anyway, that's my rundown on my solar system. Like I said, I have about $7,000 into it right now, and it works okay. Sometimes if the sun is not out, it does take a couple days for it to fully charge, and that's because the roof is like that. But we'll get that changed eventually. But gives you an idea what the costs are here in the Philippines versus in the US. So thanks for watching. Please, I hope you like this content. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, remember, life is short. Make the best of it.